Hello again. This is Robert Arthur, along with some of our leaders here in different parts of the planet, from the UK to here in North America. And this is session number 2, guys, of this initial training series, what we're calling the ABC method. I'm about to also explain where ABC came from. ABC, when you hear it, stands for simplicity, obviously, but there's also some philosophy behind that. So today's session, I'm going to cover maybe 5 minutes at the front on mindset again, and then we're going to dive into, it's like you're looking over my shoulder and seeing me actually working the system. And as always, I do want to express my gratitude for those of you on the live session once again, to keep the call real, to make sure that you're getting the key points. So just be prepared if you're forward, Alex and Claudia and Mary, to engage with me to make the training even more effective. So thank you for that. And if you're watching this recording and you haven't seen session number 1, please do go back and watch the initial session. It will really help you with the mindset and some of the philosophy. All right, so let me, I'm gonna bop over here as usual and start with a couple ideals around mindset, and then we'll jump into the system and show you just a real life example of a session working the system. Let me pull up my notes again, and let me go to my session for the day today. Okay, and here it is. All right, can you guys pipe up and make sure that you can see my notes on your screen?
Yes, sir.
You're good to go? All right. Okay. So here's where the ABC, just from a high level view here, ABC, we're always affirming people. We're definitely believing and building belief, and we're connecting. I use the action version, which is the ING version of all these words: affirm, believe, connect. Under the affirming, under ABC, and guys, this is one of the main premises why this system works and this methodology works for connecting, qualifying, eventually enrolling quality people. Number one, it's a way of living, and much less doing business. It's quite refreshing to people that we connect with when we're leading by uplifting them, complimenting them in a very genuine, a very sincere way. And over again, from the beautiful couple here, Claudia and Alex, all the way to anybody that is engaged with us and now on board from this system, that'll be a common theme we hear from these individuals. And number 2, those of you who have been around, some of my leaders here on the team, and if you're new to the team, would definitely, this is once again a way of life, much less doing business. When we choose to trust and believe in another person, that gives that person permission to do the same much more readily and eventually in a very complete way. We complete the circle of trust with people. When we trust, when we lead with that and go into a place of trust versus distrust with people that we're meeting, there's kind of a balancing act on there, and Ford mentioned this earlier from other teachers, is that there's a balancing act between trusting and believing this person will be your next, solid leader, and also, remember, we're also qualifying, which is one of my keys down here. I'll share with you, but the C stands for connecting, discovering who and what our new contact stands for, and the only way we can really more effectively discover who our tribe is and what they stand for is one of our jobs, and one of my jobs is to always remain crystal clear on what I'm all about. So if you're not crystal clear on what you stand for and what your values are and what your mission is, then you got some work to do. Okay, because only then can you really understand other people. And I love Stephen Covey's quote, one of his chapters in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Seek first to understand, not second. First is to understand the other person. Only then, once you understand them, then our mission is to be understood. And when you're working this system, which I'm showing you with each session, this is something to embrace every step along the way, okay? And then the way to make our mission clear, remember our goal is we're looking to attract our tribe and not everyone. And the way to attract our tribe from the first message all the way on is making it crystal clear on our profile, to our message, to our latest post that we just posted, image, picture, video, quote, doesn't matter. Always have it in line with with all of our values and mission. And then especially once you get on the phone or a live chat with your new connections, then the real discovery process truly begins in earnest. All right, is everybody clear on some of those principles? Okay. All right, and then lastly, these are two of my favorite quotes. Mary has heard these many times, and she'll hear them again, I'm sure, in the future. Amateurs convince, and what do professionals do? Mary, that's right. I saw your mouth working, and then I heard you. Does anybody not understand what this means here? Everybody's clear on that, okay? And then one of my other favorite quotes, there's so many here, but separate our invitation on the front end from the presentation. And how do we present? By using the tools, okay? Separate the invitation from the presentation. And as I show you some of these searches, if you want to know historically, some of the professionals out there and that have jobs or businesses that have a similar skill set, if you will. Like these individuals are used to setting appointments. They're used to the numbers game. They're used to earning commissions. They're used to developing people, etc. And they aren't scared of sales. We all say we share Isogenics. Let's all be real. We're in sales, okay? We're in sales and marketing, and let's be real about that. Let's be proud about that. Do we use the word share as well? Because it's a very heart-centered gift that truly changes lives. Heavens, yes. But are we also in sales? Heavens, yes. Okay. Okay. So, but these professions have some of the core skill sets. Here's Mary. There is Mary Pike right there. Let's see. Professionals. Natural leaders, there's Ford Thibodeau, okay, and other areas too. So Alex and Claudia. So I don't have, Alex, you're on the IT side of things, computer programming?
Yes, used to be, yes.
Used to be, okay. And
I used to teach it.
What's that again?
I used to teach it.
Oh, awesome. And I would say, so Alex would be, because we don't have a generalized hat here, Alex is definitely a leader. Anybody that has taught or mentors other people, I would put them under this category here. And Claudia, are you in the, what's that again?
Yes, sales manager. Yeah, that's me.
Exactly. So, what's fun, what's interesting, if there was like 100 people in this Zoom session right now, pretty much, we could have some connection to one of these roles typically, especially this role right here. And Mary Pike wasn't just a small business owner. She's a natural leader. Mary is like this one, and this one, and this one. And she's wore many other hats in the past as well, but she's definitely a leader. And you're going to see these questions come alive when we jump into the system. Okay, does this make sense, guys? And do you understand why I would even put this out there as far as what professionals are more prone and more open to looking at our business, much less having some of the skill set? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And under small business owners, in Isogenics, salon owners and people in the healing arts, they're some of your primary ones as well. So, Okay, guys, let's get out of the notes and let's go over to LinkedIn. Okay, so on LinkedIn, let's just start with, remember the first session we talked about setting up your profile, starting to get clear on your branding. Remember, guys, in session number 3, which is the next session from here, we'll do other sessions too about some particulars. Remember, your profile and our branding isn't just what's in the profile. Your profile, this day and age, especially the way LinkedIn is set up these days, it also consists of the articles and the activities that you do. So when somebody pulls up your profile, they're also looking at your articles and your activity to make a decision whether to move forward with you. And we'll probably need to have at least a half or a special training just on this section right here. Would you guys agree with that? Okay, and we'll look at what we're doing and what other professionals are doing successfully on LinkedIn. All right, now let's get into the system. Okay, so let me pull up my next module here, and we'll start into the system. So this is a real life look at the searches I've done. Remember, I showed you guys briefly what this looks like in the first session at the end of it, if you recall. And so I've searched from, let me just refresh you here. A lot of my time, you see, has what I do for the last 3 or 4 months. I primarily focused on the UK market. Obviously, the results are adding up all the time as far as people coming on board, people in the pipeline, people coming to the events, etc. I just set up, I think, 6 more live chats in the last 48 hours with professionals in the UK, which is exciting for Alex and Claudia because they're all going, and my next leaders coming on board the UK will go on their team, which is fun. Yeah, Mary has a question.
I do. You've got, under yoga, 233 results. Does that mean 233 came up, or that you've had results with 233 people?
Both, but the result in this case was they came up. So yes, that's a one word to describe it. So what Mary's asking, when I put the search in for yoga, yoga, we get millions of people if it's just global, okay? And then I narrowed it down to the UK, second level, as you know by now. And then I got 233 friends of friends in the UK who have yoga somewhere in their profile that live in the UK. And then I sent them all connect, page down, connect, page down, page 2, connect, page down, connect. There's 10 to a page. So in case you're wondering, I've done this so many times. I see it. Okay, so I'll show you that in a minute. So on this one day, 233 plus 135 is roughly what, 370 and plus 100. So if you want to do the math, that's about 470 people on April 11th that I sent a I sent an invite to connect with me. The very next day, which is pretty tight, and you'll see how the system works, I sent it to roughly 35 or 440 more people. So if you add these up in a 2-day period, I sent an invite to connect. What is it, guys? About 700 people? My math skills aren't the best. So if I'm off on math, just it's okay.
Robert?
Yeah, Ford?
A question on your numbers. As I understand the freebie portion of LinkedIn, they put 100 people in front of you every, I don't know what it is, once a week or something like that. When you're doing your search, and one day you put out over 700. So on the freebie version, how is that possible?
Actually, in 2 days, I did 700.
Okay, but that's way more than 100 per day. Does LinkedIn give you that latitude when you're doing a search? If it's more than 100, they still let you do it?
Well, my best answer to you, I've been doing it for 6 months. So,
wow. Okay.
And I've done more than that in a given campaign.
I thought they only let you do 100, but I see that maybe in doing this search, they give you or let you do whatever comes up in front of you and let you work those people.
Here's an example on May the 18th. That's about 1,000, almost 12. That's over 1,200 people that I sent an invitation to. And here's what you'll find in the system. Look at the gap. May the 18th. It took me 2.5 weeks to methodically work through this many people, because remember, about 35% of these 1,200 people are going to say yes, they accept my connection. So that left me with almost 400 new UK professionals who had either leadership or entrepreneur or people development or health in their profile that lived in the UK. Okay, so I just want to get clear on some of the searches. Let me show you an example. I know we talked about this last session. Let's just use an example for Mary's benefit. Salon owner. If we just put out salon owner globally, look at this. 139,000 results for salon owner. I could even put salon.
And see who came up first?
Yeah, there she is. So now let's put people. I'm gonna get a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Well, about the same. 140,000 people roughly, professionals who have salon owner in their profile.
Put salon owner in. I did some last night and I got 3 that came back. I don't know what the hell to say.
Okay, salon owner, and then I go to second level connection.
I have 187 shared connections.
Okay, now I'm down to,
Connections.
that's still too big of a campaign. So especially if you're just beginning, remember I promised all of you that I would be very candid and very real, if not overly real with my numbers. That's why I showed you some of those numbers just a few minutes ago. When you're first starting out, I don't recommend that you do a campaign for 1,200 people. That was after 4 months of working the system, guys. Okay, let's be real. We want to, if you're just starting out like all of you are, you want to get this down to maybe 150, a couple hundred or so in your first campaign. So how do you do that? If you want to narrow it down further, we could put actually a location. In this case, why don't we put in Las Vegas, because Mary Pike will be there with her bells on in about 6-8 weeks because of our international convention.
I didn't even think about that.
And now we get 14 results. So if you want to get more results for Las Vegas, leave off the word owner, do another search, and what do we get now? 27, not a whole lot, but here's what happens. What I can do right now is do an initial run with this, and once I've connected with maybe even 20 people tied to salons in Las Vegas, and then I do it again in say a couple weeks, I'm probably going to have maybe 80 results then. You follow me on this, guys? Because all these maybe 20 odd people that accept my connection has their circle of influence, a lot of them. Okay, so it's kind of a compounding bigger and then bigger result. You follow me on that? Or did I lose anybody? Okay. So meaning if you type once again, if you type a certain niche search for a given market like Las Vegas or Denver, say Mary's going to be in Boulder visiting the kiddos, which she probably does every few months, then she could also type Boulder or Denver. Same thing, if she got a small result, go ahead and do a campaign with 27 people. So what would I do? I would go over here. Before I do any search, what do? Remember, it's about also managing what you're doing. So what do? This is one way to do it. You don't have to do it this way, but I tend to. June 16th, 2017, salon, Las Vegas, results. What was it, guys? 26? 27? You see what I'm doing, guys? Okay. So now, knowing I want to keep track of my searches, what do I do now? Connect. And it's now a 2-step process. It used to be a 1-step process, but hey, it still goes pretty darn quick. You can do a lot of connect request. Connect, send, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Because I put it in my notes, I don't mean to hog your time, but I'm going to go ahead and follow through because that person didn't have a way to connect. I'm just following them, which is a good thing. A lot of people that I follow, that means they have that setting turned on LinkedIn. They probably have a very strong social media presence, or not, or they could just be unknowingly have that setting turned on. Who knows? But as you see what I'm doing here, I can basically do, say, 100 connect requests in 12, 15 minutes. It actually goes pretty darn quick. And you see it's 10 to a page. So 3 pages would mean, you guys with me? 30 people or not. In this case, it's 27. So we'll be about 3 shy here at the bottom of the page in just a moment. Right, coming up. Yeah, see, we only had about 7 on the last page because we have 27. So again, when the search pops up, it's 10 to a page, so you can expect 3 pages. If you had 100 people up here that were salon, Las Vegas, second level, if this said 100, this right here would show 10 pages. So I just sent 27 professionals in Las Vegas, where I'll be along with Mary in 8 weeks, to my second level. And so what happens next? So yesterday, to even further help you guys with how this works, I did a search. And if you were looking closely, you might have noticed what I did yesterday. Okay, yesterday, because I knew I was going to be working with you guys today on this training, what did I do? I said, well, I can show them how I've been building in the UK, which is really progressing very nicely. But I also want to show you guys, let's say that Alex and Claudia, let's say you knew you were going to be at the Millionaire Mind in London in 4 weeks. You could do the same thing that Mary and I are doing here with Las Vegas. You follow me on this? But I wanted to show you guys, if you know you're going to be in a location, especially tied to some kind of an event that professionals would be open to, that's why I'm showing you this particular methodology. And once we know where the New Year kickoff will be for our company, and you're going to have a New Year kickoff, guys, at NYKO in the UK as well, you're going to have always something like this. Alex and Claudia or Ford or anybody watching this, no matter what market you're in, you're going to be able to have a pending event just like I'm showing you. Any questions about that? Okay. You guys know now why I chose Las Vegas as an example. Yes? 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 Alex? Okay. I want to be sure you guys are awake. Okay. Now let me show you what was the result of how many? 189, 13, 35. What is it, guys? About 210? Somewhere in there? Y'all with me? Yes? So yesterday I sent 210, roughly, requests to professionals in Las Vegas. You guys get that? Okay. Mary, you get that? Thumbs up? Okay. So now...
I'm going to do that too. That's great for salon owners in Vegas, yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm showing you this. Yeah, awesome, Mary. So now, okay, that was step 1 of the system, of the actual system. The search mechanism, where to find people, how to narrow it down, and then it's simply a matter of pushing a button, 2 buttons. Everybody get this now? Is there any question about the first step of the system, which is the simple search and connect? Any questions around that?
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, yep.
Okay. Okay, here comes step number 3, because step number 1 is, step 1 is the search. I've shown you that. Step 2 is the actual mechanics of connect, whether you're connecting with 100 or 200 or whatever. Here comes step 3. Step 3 is when it gets a little scary for some people, but hey, we're going to turn you into pros here. Here comes step 3. Oh my goodness, what's happening now? Let's see if anybody accepted my connection. So you go to network, and yours will read maybe 50, or maybe 200, or Mary's case, maybe several hundred. Mine read right here about 500 6 months ago. Now it's several times that. Now I'm going to go to see all. Okay, so go to right here, and you're going to go to see all. So otherwise, you see, I'm now, because I have a big enough network on LinkedIn, and it's going to happen to you as well, you'll reach a point somewhere in this system where you'll get a steady flow of people asking you to connect, just like I just done with 27 people. You guys get this? Thumbs up? Okay. I'm gonna wear your thumb out there. Okay, now let's get back to task. Let's see if my 210 people in Vegas did anything with my connection. How do I know? Well, okay, I see all their faces and I see their explanation. I see their titles. Let's just have a quick. How about a sneak? Let's left click, open link in new window to check out Miss, who is she? Shanae? Okay. Let's see if Shanae's in Vegas, just to prove the results of the searches. And there you go, Las Vegas, Nevada, Director of Operations. Okay. But now the question is, how many people of those 210 accepted my connection? So I get roughly about 30%. So if I do the math, I should get about 60 professionals here almost 24 hours later that have said yes, to say, let's connect. Are y'all with me? Roughly, if you're not getting about 30% or a little more of professionals accepting your invite to connect, we need to go back to the drawing board and tweak your profile, tweak your experience, tweak some of the posts you're doing, because somehow there's a disconnect there, okay? So if you want some stats on that, if you make this note, yeah, Claudia, thank you. You want to get about 30 to 35% of your professionals, when you reach out to connect with them, that should be a rough number. Okay, so now what do? I get about 7 of these to a page. So I'm gonna say 1, 2, remember I'm looking for about 8 pages, which will give me roughly 60 professionals to see. 4, 5, 6. 6 times 7 is what? About 42? There's about 49. Again, there's 7 to a page. That's why I'm just saving you some time, showing you some little tips. All right, so I'm gonna get down to about 60 or 70 professionals, and then I'm gonna pull up their profile to see if that's where my Las Vegas contact started. And I've already done this, so I can be more time efficient with you guys. I did this about an hour ago. So from my pulling up my network from yesterday, Frank happened to be my first Vegas professional that said yes. He pushed his button that said accept. And let me show you guys why I know that. We pull up Frank, and what do we get? There we go. Henderson is just a suburb of Las Vegas. So Frank is one of my first professionals. How do I know that? Well, if you go down to Desiree and pull up her profile, I think she's in San Antonio. So there's our answer. Took me about see, in San Antonio. It took me a couple minutes, let's be real, to find out where my new batch in Las Vegas started. Remember, if I lose you any part in this process, just yell out or wave your hand. But here's why I needed to know when my Vegas contact started. Here's why. my standard message to my people, or to my people, to my new contacts has typically been right here. And this will look familiar to Claudia. Hello, Charlie. Thanks for connecting with me. With me. My wife and I enjoy meeting people who have a passion for life. I affirm them. Would enjoy networking. So I clarified my intention. And then I asked the question. I'm qualifying them. So I affirm, qualify. By the way, exciting news. We're coming into the UK. This has been my standard message for most of my contacts on LinkedIn. Why? Because I've been really focusing on the UK market, not looking right or left until I have my first group of core leaders developing in the marketplace. And that's actually working. Okay. And it's working really well, ongoing. As I mentioned before, I have 6 other chats set with UK professionals over the next 5 days. I have professionals in the pipeline. So it's very exciting what's happening in the UK. But here's the difference. I intentionally did Las Vegas for you guys yesterday to show you the power of this. So this is why I wanted to determine where my Las Vegas contact started yesterday, because I tweak the message. The initial message is very much the same. I'm going to affirm the people. I'm going to clarify my intention and ask my qualifying question right here. What's different? I'm not going to say, hey, I'm coming into the UK. That's exciting. No, these people are in Las Vegas, at least this batch of, say, 60-odd professionals. We actually have a major event with our company, and you'll see I changed this up. I actually deleted this part right here with our company in Las Vegas coming up. And our keynote speaker is Tony Robbins. It's going to be powerful. Whether you keep the niche that we're in or not, that's fine. You're simply going to weed out maybe an extra 10% or 20% of your people by putting the niche that we're in, because some people have some old perceptions or hangups, whatever it is. On the other hand, the people you do talk with will be even more highly qualified. But regardless of what you do, it's my standard message that I use in the system. And again, you can tweak this, make it your own, which I would suggest you do a little bit. And then, but your PS, especially when you're building toward a special event, is to put something like this and to have some kind of emphasis. In this case, everybody knows Tony Robbins, okay? That's why one of my searches yesterday was what? Was Robbins. So these 35 results specifically had, most of them, Tony Robbins was somewhere in their profile. And then the other tie-in to Tony Robbins, that's why I use the keyword personal growth, because that would tell me the person somewhere in their profile mentions the fact that they typically love or are somehow or involved with personal growth, which leads me to the connection, which leads us to the connection to Tony Robbins. All right, so that's the message now that I will send my 60-odd Las Vegas professionals. And I did that about an hour and 15 minutes ago. So knowing I had this training, I went here, I got my event special message specifically for my Las Vegas professionals that I sent out 210 connections yesterday, roughly 60 or 65 agreed to connect with me. Now I'm pulling up my customized special event message, which is very similar to my standard message. I just tweaked it with the what's happening locally. So now the question is, knowing I had this training with you guys, I've already sent this message to roughly 60 of these Las Vegas professionals. And let me show you guys I left about 7 that I didn't send it to, so I could show you guys exactly what I just did. So let me page down about 7 or 8. Okay, there she is. How do I know that? Another little sneak peek at the back end of the system. Here it is. Here's what I used to do. If you lose track of who you send a message to, you're going to be all upside down. And you may even PO off some professionals. More than likely you wouldn't. But so how do you keep track of who you've sent a message to? Here's what I used to do. And let me show you what I used to do and now what I do now, which is more effective. Here's the old me as opposed to 3 or 4 months ago. Look at this. Mackenzie Havey, blonde hair, glasses, big teeth. Inga Erickson, green background, gray suit, white shirt lady. Blake, little red background showing, face covers whole picture, he's tanned, slight yellow tint. Okay, that's what I used to do. You understand why I was doing that, guys? Have I lost anybody here? Because
No, that's quite a system.
But here's a better way to do it.
Good.
Can you guys see my picture still?
Yes.
Oh, 1 second. I may have to, this is important to show you guys. Okay, so here's what I do now. I go to my phone and I take a picture of their profile. And here's what it looks like.
Like me taking a picture of your notes.
Yeah, you guys see that?
Yes. Great idea.
So now what do? Once again, I pull up their profile on LinkedIn, their actual profile of the last person I sent a message to. And then, so then I put that picture in my notes. I don't just keep it in my photo. If you wanna, you have to wait to organize what your latest person is. So either create a new album in your phone, or better yet, if you want a low-tech answer, under my notes in my camera, I label this note. I go to notes right there. I pull up notes and it's labeled LinkedIn searches. LinkedIn searches, if you can see that. And then when I pull up LinkedIn searches, there's latest one. So when I send a batch of affirming qualifying messages again, what do? I go in here and I delete. I'll do it right now. I delete the picture because I'm about to send about 10 more affirming qualifying messages to show you guys the system. So let me go back to my screen share.
I hope everybody's not as confused as I am.
It's okay. If you're confused, that's good. You want to welcome that because this is a brand. If you're not confused, something is wrong with you, okay? So my point is that's why you want to get this recording, stop it, rewind it, stop it, rewind it, because this part of the system, I'm saving you time. Right now, it may be a little more confusing, but you'll really appreciate these simple steps when you get into your system. So again, guys, Jennifer Chung is my last contact that I sent this message to. So that leaves me about, okay, there's seven to a page. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 14. Got about 15 messages to send. And all you do, well, let me go back here to my notes. Where is my qualifying message that I'm about to do 14 times? Let me get to the Las Vegas one. Go back in. All right, there's my Las Vegas message. And I'm going to copy this message because I'm going to use it 14 times. All right. Hello, Robert. Send. Okay. Hello, Roger. Hello, Roger. So the message really never fluctuates whether I'm doing it 10 times or 100 times. And again, see, you probably see this is more the mechanical part of the system, which you can actually, you can pay somebody $10 an hour, or you can do it yourself. It's really up to you. But these first couple steps are more, a little more time intensive. And then, but the end result, again, is a qualified professional who's looking and ready to engage with what you have, okay? And so you're basically sending this to your latest batch of new connections. So to save us time here, I'm going to do one more, and then I'll take a picture. Let's stop with Victoria. So what I do now, Victoria is the last one that I sent a message to. Remember my tip I shared with you earlier? So what am I going to do? I'm going to pull up her profile. I'm now grabbing my nifty little camera or my phone. I'm getting in close. I'm snapping a picture of Victoria. Going to my notes under LinkedIn searches. I'm putting Victoria into my notes, and my picture didn't take. Let me do it again. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay, now I'm going into my notes.
Which notes are you using, Robert? You said something about notes on camera or just notes, or what notes?
The Notes app on your phone.
Okay, that's okay.
Again, I'm keeping it as simple as possible for my little brain, okay? All right, so there's more than one way to do that, but that's the simplest way that I found to do that, to keep track of who I've sent a message to. All right, so did I lose anybody in that process of step number 3?
Okay, so basically the pictures are the beginning picture and the end picture. Would be the beginning and the end of who you've sent the message to.
Yeah, the beginning picture is a picture you put on your notes maybe yesterday or the day before. The last time you sent the last time you sent your new connections one of these sorting messages.
Okay.
Robert, question.
Mm-hmm.
Victoria was the last one. You go into your phone, you pick it up, you pull up that little section on your phone, that app, and it says Victoria's the last one.
Yeah.
I assume that you can, since you're dealing with so many numbers and people, you can go in and do a search and just type in Victoria, and will LinkedIn bring you to that contact? Follow me?
Yes, it would, but it wouldn't help you with the system at all.
No, I'm just saying that if you might be 200 or 300 faces away, and instead of scrolling through all of them, could you do a search for Victoria and it would take you to hers, and then you know where to pick up?
Again, great question. The answer is that doesn't work with the system.
Okay, sorry.
Even that's why you don't want to get, as you're working the system, ideally you would learn to do this incrementally where you don't have to page 300 down. And believe me, I've been in a situation. Remember I showed you the campaign where I sent 1,200 people in a 2-day period. I was still in the learning mode. But I'm just showing you very candid numbers.
Right.
Part of my learning curve here with this system is you really don't want more than a couple hundred new connections that you have to go down to do your qualifying messages. Otherwise, it becomes a little laborious going back to your network, pulling up your new connections, and to answer your question, Ford, if I had to page down 200 professionals, that's 1, 2, 3. I would have to do that about 45 times 7 per page to even get close to my 200th new connection. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Great questions, guys. So I'm assuming Claudia and Alex are getting this. I can't see you guys. I just have the one video pulled up here. Okay, there you are. Okay, so step one, the actual search. Step two is the actual connect, send. Okay, very mechanical. Step three is this affirming qualifying message. You guys are getting step three? Yes? Okay. Now's where the pedal meets the road. And we're almost at the end of our webinar. Obviously, we're even learning the most effective way to train on this. And I'm realizing that some of these steps take a little more time than what we thought. So how about we spend the last few minutes of this particular session then kind of giving you a bird's eye view of what's next. Would that work? Okay. So yesterday, 200 roughly and 10 connects to professionals in Vegas. An hour and a half ago. So again, out of those 210, roughly 60, 65 agreed to be a connection on LinkedIn. An hour and a half ago, knowing I was about to get with you guys now, I sent roughly 65 of those affirming qualifying messages, and I just sent, what, 8 additional ones 5 minutes ago? You guys with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now let's look into the messages and see who of those 65 professionals and the ones maybe before then have replied. Okay, now you go to messaging. And here's the deal. This is some of your, what do you call it, guys? The mechanics? I call it mechanics, I guess. Now under messaging, under messaging, there's different ways to look at messages in LinkedIn. All messages, which right now, if you looked at all messages, you would see my 60 hour and a half ago messages. You would see my recent 8 to 10 messages. You would never get down to the who's sent me a message in the last hour. So what do? You go to unread. You're going to use the unread feature most of the time. Once again, you're going to use the unread feature in messaging most of the time. And let me show you what that looks like. If I'm being too basic for you, bear with me, guys. Are you awake, Claudia? Yeah.
No such thing. Yeah, no such thing as too basic.
That's the beauty of Zoom. I can see everybody. So, okay. If you start snoring, Alex, just punch her in the ribs. Okay, so what do you do here with unread messages? Good. So it's how LinkedIn works. So sometimes you got to go down through your, and what hit me yesterday is that I had a work anniversary, and I said, oh my goodness, I'm going to get 100 people congratulating me for my work anniversary. And I got this training in the middle of my training session, and sure enough, so I did come up with my favorite reply to somebody saying, congrats on your work anniversary. Here it is. There it is. All right. And again, you're going to get these notes as well, but this is my standard reply when somebody sends me a work anniversary message. All right. This lady's in Las Vegas. Let's make sure she is so I can, for demonstration purposes, let's see who Lynn Sherrill is. Who is Lynn? Who is Lynn? LinkedIn has these steps, and I some of the times you're kind of learning, okay, how can I get down to where I want to get? So she is, yes, she is in Las Vegas. She does accelerating business results. She must be a social media lady. Savvy content marketing, definitely a social media lady. She has over 2,000 followers. What does that tell us? She pretty much knows her stuff and what she's doing.
She knows her stuff.
Yep. And I think that's Tony right there. That could be one reason why she replied. And again, if you're wondering, do I do this with every reply? Yes. How long do I do this as far as glancing through their profile for the positive responses? Some 2 or 3 minutes, some 30 seconds, and I got what I needed. Feng Shui, which is cool. Energy work. Okay, social media, energy work. I'm going to endorse her for a couple of these: team building, effective coaching, training. Endorsing somebody is kind of like saying, hey, I see you. And let's give you some kudos. That's how I view endorsements. What I'm looking for is right here. I go to this section a whole lot, pretty much everybody. Tony Robbins, mind mapping, Oprah Winfrey. It gives you a real good feeling for the person and what they're all about. So obviously, I pretty much see what I need to see now from Lynn. So now we go back to her response. Here's what she said. Hi, Robert. Your energy comes through your profile. Clearly, it's awesome. Looking good. I'm always open to hearing about new opportunities. That being said, not sure how much I can take on. I currently have 2 businesses, 1 MLM business, and have a puppy. Since I live here in Vegas, that's certainly convenient. Please share any information. Thanks in advance. Okay, what would I share with Lynn? I basically want to get to know her, so I'm going to start the process. Hey there, Lynn. Really appreciate your affirmation and energy as well. Interesting journey with energy work and social media land. And what's my, remember, you end every conversation with a question. And my question is, I'm curious about her puppy.
Of course you're curious about the puppy. I'd be curious about how long it's been doing energy work.
No, that's the, well, yeah. The point is, it would be easy. It would be easy to step right into what MLM are you in? Why do you love about network marketing? Remember, the whole thing is you want to make a friend first and foremost, all right? So, all right, here's a typical example of maybe somebody who's a little more aggressive. You're going to get all kinds here. So you could read into this that he's being to the point, almost, I would say, borderline, just say, what do you want, guy? But this could be just his style. And since he's obviously a man's man here, and you can tell from his profile that he's big into image and physique. Let me see. I can pull up his profile real quick. Yeah, I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm telling you it's going to be worth it. So he's also in the UK. He has over 5,000 followers, so he's definitely well connected. So do I have a standard reply to that you can plug in and borrow from me? Yes. Do you want to tweak this to put it in your own words? Probably so. Or not, it's up to you. Hey there, Benji. Kudos to you for the obviously and remember the A, what the A stands for, guys, in ABC. You want to
Affirmation.
Yeah, you want to affirm, affirm, affirm all through the whole process here.
Compliment, compliment, compliment.
And a genuine thank you. And I can't type. Obviously, you're seeing that. My peck, I don't type. All right. And here's my standard message. I've already asked the question, so I'm gonna leave that one off. And if he responds and engages, great. If not, that's great too. Remember, amateurs convince, professionals sort. And a number of these are individuals who sent me a work congratulations. I really want to show you guys more of the Las Vegas responses. Let's see if this person was in Vegas. This person is an older contact from, from 2 months ago. Thanks for reaching out. You bet. Then I sent my normal qualifying message. See, came to him. He had replied to me before I even had time to send him my qualifying message, and that will happen to you as well. He's been involved with network marketing, relationship marketing over 5 years. He's built large organizations. If you look up here, he's probably in Bitcoin or some other currency. I never have gotten involved with those network marketing ventures. That's not my cup of tea. But he's a motivational speaker. And feel free to get in touch if there's any way I can add value to your expertise. All right. I'm just going to see if he's open to looking, okay? Clearly, you are an accomplished leader. Awesome to see. If you are open to looking, otherwise, I'm just getting to the point. I don't have time to dilly-dally with other networkers. I'm just speaking my mind here. As you work this system, bear in mind that because you're connecting with professionals, most professionals have something they're promoting. Let's be real. Some don't apply to us. There'll be a % of your contacts that they see in you, obviously a primary potential builder, a partner, a customer. and you have to stay focused. Otherwise, it can become very easy to get sidetracked. Okay. This person's in Bitcoins. Does everybody know what Bitcoins is, or kind of a rough idea? You do? Okay.
Don't know much. It's just something about, no, never mind. Don't know much at all.
Yeah. It's dealing with different currencies and stuff, and it is affiliate / network marketing. I'm teaching folks about cryptocurrencies. Please do share what you do. I love to support others. Hey there, Elta. That you are successful with. And I'm going to finish it up here, guys. I see Alex getting restless there. So I'm going to finish it up here. And because there's a lot, we need to we'll probably spend a whole session on communicating back and forth here. But
that's really highly important, Robert. And I'm glad you're doing it because most of us, this is more wordsmith that a lot of us don't have. So that's great. You're just helping a lot.
Question. How long have you, I cannot, been in the industry?
And you know, Robert, for the turnoff for me would be 18 hours a day. I don't want to work 18 hours a day. And that's
one reason why I asked her how long.
Right.
If she's been involved with that type of business for 3 years and she's working 18 hours a day, who knows? But good point, Mary. Guys, let's go ahead and wind this session down now. Obviously, we're going to dig deeper in next session. And I think we should do the next session further on the messaging, and do maybe a fourth session on just tips and pitfalls to avoid. Would that work for you guys? Okay, thank you.
Absolutely, yes.
And did you get a lot out of today's session?
Yes.
Robert, a question?
Okay, Ford?
I realize you're giving us sort of examples across the board. For example, we all deal in pictures in boxes. If you see someone dressed like a hobo, you're going to put them in that box that maybe you don't want to associate with. If you see a well-dressed person, that's going to be a different box. Why is this relative? It's relative because of the woman you picked in Las Vegas. You first had to determine, since that's where your campaign was at the time, that she lived in Las Vegas. Once you did that, you went through her profile and you started looking to see if you were intrigued. Here's where I get confused. When you picked up that she was in MLM, I would immediately put her in a box like I described earlier and said, okay, I'll send her a quick message, but I'm dumping her. I'm not going to totally dump her, but I'm not going to spend the time that Robert spent on her. Are you with me so far?
I'm with you, but and that's something do bring up in couple of the next sessions, because in all reality, one experienced network marketer who is either open from the get-go or opens up in the process can be more powerful than 50 other recruits. So you don't want to, you have to be careful, is that you want to be smart, and you want to sort, and you want to qualify. But when you come across the network marketers that you'll be coming across, you really want to give them their due, because one of those at the right time. And I'm going to show you, remind me next session, guys, to show you one example of a gentleman right there in the UK who will soon to be on Alex and Claudia's team. His name is Chris. He's a heart-centered, awesome guy. He's a successful network marketer who's now joining Isogenics with our team, and for different reasons. And I'll go over those reasons with you. But I can also show you the process of how he responded and how I responded and what transpired before Chris is now, he's been on the last 3 team calls. You know, he looks to come on board with a vengeance on Tuesday. So, but remind me to show you the process, and the result of that can be quite exciting. It's a great question, Ford.
Yeah, and for Robert, you know, you've taught us for years, and Jimmy Smith, think says one networker is worth 1,000 customers.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm a bit afraid of them because I don't know how to get them on board from what they're doing.
Right, but that being said, you get a couple, like, to use Alex and Claudia once again. Even though the experienced networkers over here, when Alex and Claudia catch the vision, which they're catching, get the passion, and now acquire the skills. Don't get me wrong, Alex and Claudia can work circles around an experienced networker if they're willing to put the work in. Okay, let's be real. But I'm just saying that an experienced networker, if you get them at the right time, then it can be also incredibly valuable as well. So,
Robert, in wrapping up that question, what's confusing is the fact that you decided to approach this woman in Vegas by asking about her puppy, which is building a relationship, when people that are professionals, which she came up as, you didn't go directly at her with your business or would you be interested. You went from making a friend start talking about her dog. This is where it gets a little fuzzy for me. Why?
Because you're going to have your own style. There's not really a black and white answer I can give you. The process that happens after somebody responds to our qualifying affirming message, guys, when somebody responds to that message that I showed you that we're all going to be sending, when they respond to that, in essence, they're saying, I'm a proactive person. I value you enough to at least respond to your message. So when I ask a question about family, children, the puppy, whatever, I'm feeling the water out still to see if she's willing to engage with me further. And then in that case, I'll engage with her further. But again, that's more the art of the business, this system. There's not a black and white direction to go in. So
I got it. Thank you.
You bet. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, then. So we will catch you in just a few days on session number 3. And feel free to play around with this. And I'll post this recording later today on that thread on Facebook. And you guys are awesome. And again, if you're just starting out, in this case, like Alex and Claudia, your number one priority is your warm market, not this system. Let's be real. You haven't even scratched the surface of your warm market. Okay, let's be real. This is only one more method for you to weave into what you're doing with your warm market. If you're a veteran like Mary, then this is one of her methods that can work for her because she's looking to diversify her recruiting methodology. If you're like Ford and you're looking to diversify that, by all means do that. So let's all be clear on where the priorities are with people. And it does fluctuate depending on where you are in your journey. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome, guys. We'll have an amazing day. Many, many lives to change. The guest speaker for this Monday will be Ellen Gannis Bradley. It's going to be an awesome UK global team call on Monday. Claudia and Alex, let's do connect. I want to set up a personal strategy talk and a welcome call with you guys and Ellen as well. Okay.
The third call is next Wednesday, correct?
Yeah, next Wednesday, same time, same place. Thanks, Ford. All right, guys, let's go change some lives.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you all so much.